Welcome to Laurel Smith of Chicago, Illinois, nonprofit home video and artworks creations. In this particular video, we'll be taking a look at Afghanistan's Aleppo and the Aleppo UFO, where we see an elongated Old Testament extraterrestrial face of Yeshua that created the book of Genesis 2:7 normal-headed human race, such as you and me and the rest of the world, where we get the 12 sons of Jacob DNA variety pack of all of humanity from. Well, when we look at the Syrian war and the Afghanistan military troops in Afghanistan of America, we see that the Greek devil arm on the packed American dollar bill pyramid, that's referred to in the book of Daniel 8:12 as the Greek conquerors over the biblical Holy Lands. So we're looking at the book of Daniel 8:12, 10 horns in Afghanistan and Syria. So when we look at the Afghanistan UFO data of alien Yeshua of the Old Testament, in which prophet Ezekiel saw in a glowing world within the world like UFO that had a crystal dome, it actually landed in Mount Sinai land surface topography located in North Africa. That's where the geographic location of Mount Sinai in the King James Bible is located. If you get in an airplane and go over the African continent, you'll see a mountain range called Sinai. So the biblical UFO, in which prophet Ezekiel saw in the Old Testament, landed in ancient Egypt, a mountain range called Sinai. This would explain the book of Genesis 1:26 elongated African Adamic race, such as portrayed upon the ancient Egyptian temple walls as elongated African pharaohs. They no longer exist upon the surface of planet Earth, because they was transported above the atmospheric region of planet Earth by the same elongated Old Testament extraterrestrial Elohim that created the book of Genesis 2:7 normal-headed human race. When we look at the Comet Iosn'S data of the Chinese satellite pyramid 7th form, we see a pyramid moving through outer space in the form of a comet. And it is the size of our moon, the interior cube structure in New Jerusalem. It is only when we look at the infrared cube structure in which a German astronomer high resolution images provided. I've given a tag 404. When I bisometrically filtered the 404 cube structure of New Jerusalem inside Comet Iosn'S, I discovered its E34E UFO at the base of the cube structure of New Jerusalem. The E3 UFO has elongated extraterrestrial faces flanking the left and right side of the UFO. Now, the partial filter of the UFO 8 reveals the 101 Temple Mount name of Allah as Yeshua. So the 101 Islamic Aramaic name of Allah, in which is connected to the Palestinian Islamic Kaaba faith of Abraham. So when we look at the Islamic Aramaic inscriptions upon the Dome of the Rock octagonal building structure in the Middle East, we can now reconnect it to Comet Iosn'S UFO 8 outer surface images, where we see the 101 name of the Temple Mount, entrance gates. It is only when we look at the 1940 photo of the Jerusalem Temple Mount aerial-viewed building structures do we see the name of Allah in the entrance gate. Now, the entrance gates appear as a series of upside-down U's, or two M's connected together. So the name of Allah is connected to the Jerusalem Temple Mount entrance gate. Now, just above the U-shaped entrance gate, 101 name of Allah, we see a 101 Elohim face, an elongated Old Testament extraterrestrial Elohim face connected to the book of Genesis 2:7 creation of the normal-headed human race. Now, when we look at the 0001110-175 elongated African Ancient of Days face, it's sitting on the throne of King David above the U-shaped name of Allah. Okay, the 101 name, Temple Mount name of Allah, the entrance gate name of Allah as Yeshua. So when we look at the Afghanistan war politics, we see that the United States Secretary, the Secretary of State of the United States of America, John Kerry. He's seen in a photo on the internet shaking hands with the Afghanistan President Hamid Karzai. Now, when you look at the photo, there's an army, it looked like a lieutenant or general, in back of the handshaking of President Karzai and John Kerry. Now, the infrared Q structure of New Jerusalem is expressed in the banner, which appears as a red, sideways orientated Masonic square. It has the Islamic name of Allah. So in back of the handshake of President Hamid Karzai of Afghanistan with the United States Secretary of State John Kerry, we see the Islamic name of Allah in white. Now, when we look at the name of Allah, in which I've blown up here in this video, we see the same U that makes up the Temple Mount in the Middle East, in Jerusalem, the holy building of King David and Solomon. So the name of Allah appears on the sideways orientated red banner, okay, in the United States Secretary of State shaking hands with the Afghan President Hamid Karzai. So it's only when we look at the Arab View 1940 image of the Jerusalem Temple Mount do we see the Afghanistan name of Allah as Yeshua. That smashes the 400-year-old mistranslated King James Bible thumpers